In 1957, workers draining a flooded cave on the Italian coast near the town of Sperlonga pulled something from the water. Then something else. Then something else again. By the time they understood what they had found, they had retrieved hundreds of marble fragments from a grotto that had been sealed and submerged for over 1,000 years. What they had found was the most ambitious sculptural program in the ancient world, a series of enormous marble groups depicting the most violent scenes from the Odyssey. Odysseus blinding the Cyclops, the sea monster Scylla attacking his ship, the theft of the Palladium. Each group was life-size or larger, each carved with a technical precision that had no parallel in any other ancient sculpture that had survived. The names carved on the base of one of the groups were the same 3 names that Pliny the Elder had, recorded as the sculptors of the Laocoön, the same sculptors. A different cave, a different masterpiece, hidden underwater for 1,000 years. Nobody knew it existed until the water was drained. The cave at Sperlonga had been, in the 1st century AD, the dining grotto of the Emperor Tiberius, a man whose taste for theatrical entertainment at dinner was, by the standards of even the Roman imperial court, extreme. Ancient sources describe banquets at which Tiberius arranged elaborate performances for his guests, using the cave's natural acoustics and the reflection of water to create effects that were somewhere between theater and illusion. Tiberius himself was not a man given to conventional pleasures. He had spent years in voluntary exile on the island of Rhodes before becoming emperor, living simply, studying Greek philosophy and rhetoric, developing the particular combination of austerity and excess that defined his reign. The Sperlonga grotto appears to have been one of his few genuine indulgences, a space where the theatrical imagination he suppressed in public found a physical form. The ancient writer Suetonius records a specific incident at Sperlonga. During one of Tiberius's dinners in the grotto, a rock fall occurred that killed several servants and threw the guests into panic. Tiberius, according to Suetonius, was found shielding his dinner companion with his own body. Whether this is accurate biography or imperial mythology, the incident fixes Sperlonga in the historical record, a cave where the emperor dined, where people died, where something was preserved in the rock fall that the world would not see again for 19 centuries. The sculptural groups were part of this program. They were not simply decorations. They were arranged around the cave and its central pool in a composition designed to be experienced from specific vantage points, at specific times of day, in specific lighting conditions. The blinding of Polyphemus, the largest group, placed at the back of the cave where it would have been visible across the water, was positioned so that its reflection in the pool below it would have created a doubled image, the sculpture and its mirror image combining to produce a spatial effect that no fixed viewing position could fully contain. This was not art displayed in a museum. This was art designed to be experienced as an environment, a total immersive composition that used water, light, reflection, and architectural space as elements of the work itself. When the cave was sealed, most likely during Tiberius's reign, possibly after a rock fall that damaged the grotto, the sculpture was left inside. For 1,000 years, it sat in the dark beneath the water. When it was found, the fragments were so numerous and so scattered that reassembly took decades. The blinding of Polyphemus is still not complete. Significant portions remain missing. What has been reassembled is in the Museo Nazionale Archeologico di Sperlonga, built on the site specifically to house it. But this is where the story becomes stranger. The Laocoön connection requires a careful examination because it changes what the Sperlonga sculptures are. When the Laocoön was found in Rome in 1506, Pliny's identification of its sculptors, Agesander, Athenodorus, and Polydorus of Rhodes, was already known from his natural history. The discovery seemed to confirm Pliny. 3 Greek sculptors from Rhodes had made the greatest work of ancient art, and here it was. But the Laocoön presented a problem. Its style, the extreme physical expressiveness, the writhing bodies, the operatic emotional register, did not match what scholars knew of Rhodian sculpture. Rhodes had a tradition of more restrained, more formally controlled work. The Laocoön looked different from everything else attributed to that tradition. Then Sperlonga was found, and the same names appeared on the base of the Scylla group. Now, there were 2 enormous sculptural programs, the Laocoön in Rome, the Odyssey groups in the cave at Sperlonga, attributed to the same 3 sculptors. The stylistic similarities were immediately apparent. The same operatic expressiveness, the same extreme physical distortion of bodies in extremis, the same technical mastery of deeply undercut marble producing dramatic shadow effects. But the Sperlonga groups are larger than the Laocoön, more complex, more ambitious in their spatial composition. If the same sculptors made both, then the Laocoön, which Pliny called the greatest work of art in existence, was not the greatest work these sculptors produced. It was a preparation for something larger. The greatest works of Aegisander, Athenodorus, and Polydarus of Rhodes were hidden in a cave underwater for 1,000 years. And when they were found, the world had to revise everything it thought it knew about the sculptors of the Laocoön. Now consider the blinding of Polyphemus itself. The scene from the Odyssey is one of the most violent in the poem. Odysseus and his men have been trapped in the Cyclops' cave. They have watched their companions eaten. Odysseus has made the Cyclops drunk on wine and then driven a sharpened stake into his eye. The Cyclops screams. His neighbors, hearing him, call out to ask what is wrong. He tells them that nobody is hurting him because Odysseus has given his name as nobody. The neighbors go back to sleep. The sculptors chose the moment of the blinding itself. The stake is being driven. The Cyclops' body is twisted in agony, one hand reaching toward his ruined eye, the other grasping blindly at the air. The figures of Odysseus and his men are ranged around him, pushing the stake, their bodies braced against the resistance of the enormous form they are attacking. Look at the scale. The Polyphemus figure, as reconstructed, stands several meters tall, a Cyclops of genuinely monstrous proportion, dwarfing the human figures around him. The men driving the stake are not heroic in size or in posture. They are small relative to what they are attacking. They are using their weight and their coordination and their sharpened stake against something that, in any direct physical confrontation, would destroy them instantly. This is the visual argument the sculptors made, that the small figures around the giant are not winning because they are stronger. They are winning because one of them is smarter. The stake is not a weapon of force. It is a weapon of cunning. And the entire composition, the scale differential, the positioning of the figures, the specific moment chosen is designed to make that argument visible without a single word of explanation. This is not a scene of heroism in any conventional sense. Odysseus is not defeating a warrior. He is blinding a giant who is too drunk to defend himself. The violence is not martial. It is practical. It is what survival required. And the sculptors depicted it with complete fidelity to what survival actually looks like. Not glorious, not clean, but effective. The same quality that makes the Laocoön extraordinary is present here, the refusal to idealize the central action. What you are looking at is not a demonstration of heroic virtue. It is a demonstration of what a man will do when he needs to get home. Whether Tiberius, watching from across his dining pool as the reflection doubled the writhing Cyclops in the water below, understood the sculpture as a celebration of Odysseus's cleverness, or as a portrait of what desperation looks like when it succeeds, is not recorded. He watched it in the dark, with wine, by torchlight. He kept it until the cave collapsed, The fragments are in Sperlonga. The reassembly continues. New pieces are still occasionally found during excavations around the site. A hand here, a foot there, pieces of the stake, elements of the composition that have been lying in the sediment for 2,000 years waiting to be identified. The complete sculpture, what age Sander, Athenodorus, and Polydorus designed when they planned the cave's program, has never been seen. What exists is an approximation, a scholarly reconstruction from fragments, a best available answer to the question of what was there. Homer described the blinding in 30 lines. 3 sculptors spent years carving it in marble, large enough to fill an emperor's dining cave. And then the cave closed, and the water came in, and for 1,000 years the Cyclops screamed in the dark with no one to hear him. He has been reassembled now. He is still screaming. The stake is still in his eye, and the question of what the greatest sculptors of the ancient world understood about the most violent scene in the Odyssey, why they chose this moment, this action, this specific depiction of survival rather than heroism, is the same question it was in 1957, when the water was drained and the fragments began to surface. The cave is still there. The museum is built around it. The Cyclops is still mid-scream. Nobody has fully answered why.